All right. It's been a while since I've done a stream. Actually, not that long. I think last week. Anyway, it was a bit of a pain last time because I was digging into Astro for the first time and spent about a couple hours and got really hung up on view transitions. Well, it turns out that in order to get the stream hopefully a little bit more performance, what I ended up doing was disabling animation in Windows, which unfortunately disables or toggles the option in Chrome or Edge for prefers reduced motion, which disables view transitions in Astro. Now, the confusing thing is the default transition in Astro is just this fade thing, and that works even if you have prefers reduced motion. But any other type of motion that involves like moving of elements, I guess, just doesn't work. So it appeared to me that when I started to add these transition names and other attributes, that the it ended up causing the animation to fail or to break. But in reality, it was just because I had the setting off in Windows. So this time, the setting is back on, and unfortunately, that means that there's this little animation which I can't get rid of. Actually, I don't know if that comes across on the screen, on the stream, but anyway, I'll have to live with it. So, lots of progress has been done since the last stream. Working on my friend's website. His launch date for his album is next Tuesday, so getting the site wrapped up here. I've been using Bun for local development, and it's been pretty nice. I did end up actually using some of the Bun features a little bit. I used Bun file standard library to write some files just to automate some busy work that I needed to do. So I had a array of strings, and I just needed to convert them all into files, markdown files. So just automated that real quick. Anyway, here's what the site looks like now. Let me just reload this. Whoa, hold on. That's not right. Okay. I guess that was drastic enough of a change that Astro couldn't catch up after all those changes. All right, let's try that again. There we go. So this is what it looks like now. Now here's a transition that I was trying to get last time. You click on this album, and it kind of zooms up and comes to the right side there. It also works going the other way, and then works for these albums too. Actually, what's really cool is if you click on, if you press back instead of clicking on the home, it actually remembers the scroll state, and so it just kind of goes back to where it came from. Okay, so what I'd like to do today is, I don't know if you can see this. It's kind of, it happens really quickly. But whenever this animation occurs, there's a couple things that go a little wonky. The first thing is the top bar kind of disappears for a second, I think, underneath that image. Let's try that again. For this one, it doesn't quite. So, oh yeah, okay. So you can see that little. I think there may not be any way around it, because essentially what needs to happen is, in order for this what's called a flip animation to work. Now let's say this is over here, and I go back. Say I scroll up. Now this is behind the bar now. Okay. In order for that animation to work, in order for it to pop up, it has to at some point come in front of it, right? and there's no way to smoothly transition popping in front of something. So essentially, what happens is that it pops up in front of it first, and then moves into position. So that one I think I can live with. But the one that's bothering me here is it actually kind of delays, and you can see it for quite a while afterwards. Just watch this little bit right here. You see that little shadow that appears? And it happens the other way too. It's a little briefer going the other way, but it kind of lingers. I think it actually might be related to this list coming in here because it seems to wait. It seems to last as long as that animation of the list coming in. So that's the goal for me to figure out how to fix that issue. So a couple thoughts before we get started. First one is sometimes these animation libraries will have ways to kind of pause an animation or slow it down or something like that. And then I guess that's the main thought. That's kind of the first direction I wanted to go. But the other thing I wanted to check out also is maybe just start by removing that transition there and see if that removes that shadow bit. So let's start with that. So this is on the album page. Oh yeah, so I'll give a little bit of a overview of how I've laid things out now. I don't know if it's the best way, but it works, and I kind of like it. It's kind of cool that this whole thing. So I'll give a full site overview, I suppose. This is the homepage. There's not a whole lot. Homepage. These links all work. Since this is the latest album, it's not dropping until Tuesday. I don't have the links for them yet, but they're all set to go when I get them. Then you go to any one of these album pages. This is something I have to work on. This is going to look a little nicer, and it's going to have the ability to download the MP3 at least, and perhaps even play it directly inside the website. But we can also click on each one of these songs, and it will take you to a page with the lyrics. That page is not really done yet. So if you think about it, there's and I don't like this. The animation happens in the opposite direction, left or right. If you go back from another page, which is kind of strange. I wonder what happens if I go to About and say it back. Yeah, so anytime that you go backwards in history to this page, the animation runs kind of in reverse, and that'd be an interesting thing to try and disable as well, because I'd always like it to come from the right there. Okay. So let's start with that. Let's oh yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So there's a home page. There's a page for each album. There's nothing on the about page yet. And then there is a page for each of the lyrics. But what's really cool is with Astro here, we got again the index page. What's this last layout? I don't actually know. Oh, you know what? This is not even used. Is it? It's not. Okay, I was doing some testing there. That's what that was for. Okay, so we got the index page for the home page, which is this one. We've got the about page, which is empty for now. We've got this page, which is one page that's used for all 3 albums. And actually, the heavy lifting is kind of being done in this album layout here. It's kind of silly to do it that way, to be honest, actually, because if I'm just going to have the whole component do all the heavy lifting, you know what? Let's refactor that for now, right now. Let's just copy this whole template over, stick it in here. Because essentially I have to duplicate everything. This interface props exists in 2 places, right? It exists here and here. So there's no point in doing that. Let's grab these tracks. Now, did I have to do that because of this get statics path thing? Not really sure. I don't know. Okay, so let me see what I did here. I got slug name and cover from Astro props. Name and cover gets used inside. All of them get used in here, but slug gets used over here to generate the tracks. Here, I was passing slug in. Where was I passing slug in? In Astro props. Slug was then getting passed in from. Where was it getting slug from? Oh, okay, it's right here. Albums, okay. Some albums here. Okay, yeah, we should be able to refactor this. We'll get to the transitions in just a sec. Let me refactor this real quick. Okay. So here's what we want to do. We want to generate these tracks. We're going to need that slide collection and get collection. So we need from here these two imports. Okay. Alrighty. And now it doesn't know about the slug thing, and that's because slug is in props. So actually, I think we just do that, and I think we're good. Happy now? Okay, now I got to import layout. All right, and then actually albums here needs a JSON. Is that not right? Okay, no, I think that's right. Album layout's gone. Get rid of that whole thing. And is that it? Any more red squigglies? Something over here. No, where'd that go? There is something somewhere. It's where is it? Blurred, merciful, and mighty. Okay. Grab that one. And that should be it. Hopefully. Is that it? Often takes a while. Oh yeah, no red lines. Okay. So let's just remove this guy then. Cancel that. We don't need album layout anymore. Cool. All right, so back to where we were here. So this index page generates all the albums, which was using the album layout page. And now, actually, let's just make sure it all still works. Image not found. Is that error actually happening? It is. Okay, it's because I now one directory in. All right, all still works. Okay, good. Successful refactor. All right, so this album's JSON, let's open that up. Album's JSON here contains album slug, the name of it, and then links for Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and Amazon. That gets used twice. It gets used in the album page to generate the pages for it. So essentially what I've got here is this is generating params here for this album. So this album has to correspond with this params album, the album right there. And then that slug is a path for that. And then I got this album covers array. I think I can move this out of this. Let's see if I can. I had issues with it doing that before. So let's see if... Okay, it's fine with it now. Okay, I prefer that. Okay, so this album covers is mapping a string to this excuse me, image metadata, which is the Vite import. I don't think there's any way to like dynamically give the file path, so I just have to, wherever I want the image, import the image in that file and then map it to the string there. So that's what I'm doing. And I've been trying to keep them consistent, but this ampersand is causing issues with naming things. So the slug does have to be the ampersand because a QR code was already made with that. But everywhere else I tend to use the and in the JavaScript. So this creates essentially the route paths. And then it renders this for each one of those routes, this layout. And then this tracks just grabs the collection of all the tracks, but then filters it to just the ones that are for that album, because this collection contains all the tracks. And then I'm just mapping it to make sure that this slug ends up having the correct link to it and grabbing the rest there. So that's what's happening here. The second place where this album's JSON is being used is the actual index page. And here I am actually just popping off the front because I'm treating the most recent album slightly different from the other one. So I'm grabbing the past albums and I'm ignoring the most recent one. And then here I'm just manually doing the most recent one stuff here. And then here I'm taking care of the past albums. So I'm not doing anything crazy with components or anything. Everything's pretty straightforward and simple. So the only component that I have is this album tile here. And that's doing the thing that on the home page has excuse me, links to the different things plus the image there. So, album covers not defined. Okay, so there is an issue with that. I really don't know why that's a issue, but we're gonna stick it in there. Maybe it has something to do with like how often that thing runs, because this in Astro and some of the the confusing thing with some of these meta frameworks is that like your JavaScript doesn't all run at the same time. Like this bit gets run at compile time or build time. Actually, I think all of it gets run at build time. I don't know. It's confusing. All right, I think that fixes the issue there. Okay, we're good. All right, so back to our retransition. Oh, actually, let's go back to the tracks one. So tracks is another one that just generates all the different pages for the tracks. So there's a title there. If I were to say something like hello, okay, that wasn't at all hello, but you get the idea. When I go to any one of these track pages now, let's go to Costly Mercy here. You'll see that bit ends up on every single one of the lyric pages. So if you go back and click on Your Promises Are Better, it's on that one too. So here's the deal. Oh yeah. To do that, you have album and tracks, being this album and that tracks, to line up with with uh, the folders have to line up with those parameters there. Okay, let's now go to the transition for the album, which is this guy. Okay, so I have this transition animate slide, and the first thing I'm going to do is just disable this. So I'm going to cut that and remove it. For now, I'll stick it down here and comment it out. So let's go back to album here. And I think that already got rid of the shadow there. Sure did. Now, if it's behind, you still get that jump in front. But again, I don't think there's any way around that. And I think it's actually pretty fluent. Okay. So, why might this transition animate slide thing be causing an issue? Not sure. Let's go to Astro documentation. So built-in has fade slide animations on the opposite. So it says that right there. Okay. Let's customize animations here. As well as new node pages according to following types. The following example shows all the necessary requirements to provide a custom fade animation. Okay, it just has to follow this interface. So this would be a fade animation. Transition animation, pair, directional animations. Directional needs to be a pair of old and new. And then transition animation needs to have either one or an array of these transition animations. Okay. Name of the keyframe. All right, let's give it a try. Let's create our own slide. Just paste the stuff we had there. Const. This will be slide. And then what animations. And then this one was animation. Yeah, that's what we'll call it. Anim. That's fine. Slide in. And we'll call it slide out. Now, those were fade in and fade out there. What do those names correspond with? The name of the keyframe, delay duration, easing, fill mode, direction. Easing, fill mode forwards, fill mode backwards. What happens if we just do that for now? So let's put this back in. Let's see, this was on the list. And then we'll disable this slide here. All right, what do we got now? Let's get into my notes here. Slide is not a function. Is this supposed to be a function? Okay. So let's go back to making that fade in and fade out. All right, what did I miss here? Oh, I'm calling that as a function, which I should not be doing. I should just be putting slide in there. Okay. Homepage. Oh. There's definitely something going on because they're like, it's hard to see, but they're like fidgeting a little bit. So something's happening. Okay. Let's do slide in and slide out and see what that does. What I'm not sure about is where do we actually define the motion of this happening? So like what makes this a fade animation? It can't just be. Is it just the name of that? Name string, the name of the keyframe. The name of the keyframe. I don't know. Let's see if there's a better resource on custom animations. Not sure. Not sure. Let's go to the Discord and see if there's any resources in there. Astro. Let's search here. Okay, we're gonna search for custom animation or transition. Object that adheres to the interface. The object would then be used with the transition animate directive. Here's an example of how you might do it. Okay. By the names of the keyframes, you would define these keyframes in your CSS. Oh, okay. Since you're using Tailwind CSS, you can define these keyframes in your Tailwind configuration file. Here's an example. Okay. The keyframes. I didn't think about that. Okay. Cool. So, slide in animation keyframes. You know what? You should be able to find the keyframes animation for this slide animation. Slide transition module, dist transitions index. Node modules, Astro. It's supposed to be Astro here. Dist transitions index.js. Astro fade in, Astro fade out. Astro slide from right. Export fade slide. Okay. So this is what slide is. Oh, interesting. It only takes duration. I thought it took a delay as well. Okay. All right. So we can just use, we know that the name has to be Astro fade in, and we can actually just copy this because I don't really need to reinvent it. And the CSS exists in Astro still for it. I don't really know where that CSS gets injected though. That's kind of the interesting thing. So let's take this old new for forwards, backwards. It's interesting the backwards is just those two things and not all this other customized stuff. Okay, let's give this a try again. Let's comment that slide out again, and I'll probably end up moving this into another file, but we're going to do, let's see, old and new is under old, new, ease it out, quart. What's this cubic Bezier thing? Bezier? Don't know. Okay. And they just did directly on forwards and backwards there. Okay, we'll just do that. We'll copy theirs. All right, this needs to be forwards. Old, new. And okay, I gotta get prettier working as well in here, but for now I'm just doing this manually. Okay. What I actually want this to be, so they have this slide function, slide, and return this whole thing. So we do want that, but instead of duration, I actually kind of want to put a delay on them all. Where did they put that again? Right before that. Okay. I don't like having that syntax like that. We're going to do that. And then we're also going to yeah, sure. No. Put that on its own time. Okay. Tab that in. Tab all this in. I think I'm gonna need to close out function. And that's it. Okay. Get rid of this guy. Initializing provides no value for this binding element, and the binding element has no default value. That's fine. Okay. So I'm going to actually just say this is going to be a delay. We're going to let all the durations be the same there. And then we're going to add a delay to here, which is going to, actually, I think I can just do that. Yeah, we'll just do that. What happened here? Why is that delay colon duration? Void 0. Okay. Get rid of that for now. probably find out why that would need to be the way it was anyway at some point. Okay, so we'll just say I times 10, and then we'll make that milliseconds plus milliseconds. Okay, should be no more red lines, I think. I'm okay with that being any string. No, yeah, sure, string. Okay. Let's see what that does. Go back to the home page. Let's exaggerate this quite a bit. 10 milliseconds is tiny. I don't know why I did that. We'll do 1,000 just to really exaggerate, because that's going to be a second in between each one now. Okay, so that's definitely not doing the delay correctly. But there is definitely a sliding happening, which is good. Let's see what direction it slides when we go back. Yeah, it's still doing that. So how would I want to change that? Backwards, let's just say that we swap old and new. Okay, let's do that. And now, if I click on About, go back. Ooh, okay. Didn't do that correctly. So, what did I actually swap there? I said swap old and new. So this is new, this is old. And I said fade out, slide to right. And then the new is fade in, slide from left. What if I just say fade in? Nope, that's not what I do. It was fade out, slide to right. Slide from right. Forwards fades out and slides to left. Forwards fades out and slides to left. New is the one that we care about here. Let's put the delay in there. Delay, because there's no delays on the new there. That's the animation I'm really caring about. I think I'm not even aware of the animation that's happening. Okay, there we go. Clearly that's way too slow. But that's more of what I wanted there. So let's make that 50 milliseconds maybe. Let's go back to the whole page. Oh, even 50 is a lot. So 10 might have been actually right there. Yeah, 10's pretty good. If I were smarter, I'd probably find a way of like easing the last ones or something like that. How do you do that? You want the delay on the you want the delay of the smaller things to be shorter and the delay of bigger things to be a little longer. So you could say I squared, I times I times 10. So let's see. Yeah, I think it's. Do I actually want? No, we really just want that. We don't really want that to. Oh, you know what? I think it really was the duration that we wanted to adjust. Let's go back to this guy because I think the duration really was the one that we cared about. So let's replace the new with that. And here's why I think that. Because let's just put duration. Because it's not that we want to delay them, it's that we want the later ones to take a little longer. And that'll make it go like fast and then slow. So give that a try. Make it all happy. And I think because of that, I think we can pretty safely just get rid of that that squared value. And now that was actually used to be 100 or something like that. Yeah, that's better. Okay, I did 50 plus 500. I think the reason why I did plus 500 was so that it came in after the image came in. So I made sure that first the image came in and then everything else came in. Okay, so now we're back to where we were because we got that shadow back. And why do we have a shadow there? That's the question I want to find out now. Why a shadow? Okay, let's just make that a number so that's happy. So now what we want to do is figure out why that shadow's there. Actually, let's troubleshoot this backwards animation thing real quick. So what we want is on backwards, we want to forwards, the new thing is to fade in and slide from right. The old thing is to fade out and slide to left. Okay. So for the new, we want to do fade in, slide from right. And for old, we want to fade out and slide to left. You know what? I think we always just want to slide to right. Slide to right. Not that I care too much about the exit animation, but okay. So go to about, go back. Nice. Go here, go there. Very cool. Very cool. Let's tighten this up a little bit. I don't think we want it quite that long. Go to about again. Go back. Go candle stand. Go back. Go candle stand. Click on that. I like it. Okay. Making good progress here. Now we just need to figure out why that little shadow's popping up. So, I think what ends up happening while this animation's happening is these things get put on the CSS, right? Something like that. There's like these Astro fade out stuff. So let's take a look at the CSS that gets generated here. My DevTools is all the way up here. Bring that down. Sources. No sources. I thought it was sources. Yes, it is. Should be able to find the CSS of this somewhere. Right? Is there a way to just kind of search this? Tailwind? Tailwind. That's probably Astro is where it is. Transitions. It's JavaScript though. View transition CSS. There we go. Okay. There it is. Astro fade in, out from yeah, okay. Alright, so let's figure out how to pause this. Pause, view, transitions, animation. Don't want that. I don't want to click to get to big here. Let's try to click on this one right here. Animation play state. Paused. Interesting. Can I really do that? Add it to the list item, I guess. That's what I'd add it to. Well, where does it get paused, right? It's just yeah, that's not gonna help. Okay. Let's just open up the dev tools because I think we'll be able to quickly see the element having its classes added and such. So let's click on one of these guys. And here it is right here. Okay. So if I click on about, then go back. No, of course I'm not going to be able to see it because element's gone. That's a tricky thing about debugging animations. I'm not going to get rid of the animation paused. There we go. Okay, so transition name is this guy. Let me try putting a class on here of what was it called? Astro fade out or something. Slide to right. Say slide to right. Interesting. That is not at all. Helpful. Oh, that's the same question. Okay. Okay, so here's another thing I want to try. Let's make one of these really... Okay, actually, let's make the whole thing take a really long time. So let's do that first. Just slow the whole thing down. That'll help. So now I got 12 seconds to see the whole thing happen. Interesting, I wasn't even able to interact with them until the whole animation was done, though. I was thinking that would give me time to interact with them, but it didn't. Body, main, OL. Okay, I think I might be able to get to them. Let's make it each 2 seconds long. Interesting, why didn't it animate? Back. There we go. Okay, go to body, go to main, OL. Any one of these. Let's try that one more time. Strange to me is the shadow's now moved. The shadow used to be. Let's go back. Now there's multiple shadows too. The whole page is like frozen too during this animation. That's not great. Shouldn't have it that way. There, okay. Okay. So let's do that one more time. Is it always starting off this way? Okay, so there's a shadow there. And then later on, shadow appears like somewhere over here. Okay, there's a shadow there now. What could be causing that shadow? And then when the animation's done, it just disappears. It's just gone. Let's try one more time. Shadow's there. Just think that there's no shadow now. Oh, you know what? There's only a shadow when I like mouse over something. Okay, let's try that again. One more time here. So again, look at this. Look at that flashing as I hover over things. So I think what's going on, this is my theory. Clearly the page is like frozen while this animation's happening. And interacting with the page kind of causes the animation to glitch out a bit. Now if this is only, let's say that's only 10. That's only 10. I mean, it only briefly shows up, that little glitch there, but you still see it. I'm also realizing that shadow is here to here. All right, let's see if we can take a little screenshot of this. There's like a game mode or something in Windows. Nope, I don't have that. All right, what's the quickest way to me to take a quick video screenshot of this? Well, you know, I don't think I have to. Let's just slow this down again. Not by much. Just 200 here. Okay, here goes. Ready? Look as I move around here. It's I think it's related to like the container of this, perhaps. Let's see what this container looks like. Here's the main. Here's the image. Here's this guy. Let's rerun the animation. Whoa. It's crazy how frozen everything is during this animation, though. I think that's part of the issue. That's my theory. Well, what's funny to me is that I'm only seeing that issue. Okay. This is my theory. I don't think there's actually an issue with like an element being where it's not supposed to or anything like that. My actual guess here is that this animation's taking up the entire main thread, which is not a great thing. Like CSS animations probably should somehow not be on the main thread, but it's taking up the main thread. So everything else on the page is not interactable while this animation is happening. See, I click on this, I do this, I can't click on anything, can't click on this, can't click on anything, right? The whole thing is botched. What's interesting here is that the shadow is only happening up in this top bit here. And here's why I think that's the case. That top bit there is actually doing a bunch of heavy lifting as well. It is a top bar that is partially transparent and also blurring the background behind it. So, my theory is that this animation is just taking up so much resources that the composition of the top bar is just getting all messed up. Like the thing that's painting the browser is having such a hard time handling the animation that it doesn't know how to also blur the background and figure out the correct opacity to composite all that information. And so we got these weird bars of stuff happening. So that's my theory. How would we fix that? Well, does this really need to be a... Well, first of all, on this page in particular, I got this layout such that this bar goes on top. Doesn't really have to, though. That's kind of tricky, though. That means that... This is not that bad. It just means that the... let me think about this. What I was going to say is that for this page, the reason why I have this top page, or the home page this way, is I like the way that kind of slides underneath it. And for the most part, it doesn't cause any issues. I think it does a pretty nice job of being a nav bar, but also being stylistic with that blur happening there. So you see that blur? So if it wasn't blurred, you'd be able to read Merciful and Mighty behind there, right? Like it gets blurred pretty substantially there. So anytime you scroll, for instance, right, it has to recalculate that blur. Think about this. This bit right here is not blurred. That bit behind it is blurred. It has to calculate how to blur everything that's behind there on top of the color of that bar and its opacity. So that's my theory. Is that's just a lot of work on top of doing the animation. So here's the thing. On this other pages, these album pages, there's really no benefit to having that bar transparent. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to take this animation, we're going to shorten it down. That's fine. Then what we're going to do is we're going to create a second layout. Actually, all we really need is that nav bar to change color. And I think that unfortunately the color there is here. Okay. So what we can do is we can pass in a prop and say if it's a home page, right? So we can say, or let's just be more explicit, transparent nav, and that's going to be a Boolean. I'm going to default it to false. And if it's a transparent nav, then we want to do two things. We want backdrop blur, and we want that background color there. Okay. So how do we do that again? I think we do conditional CSS here. CSS and styling. Do they have Tailwind specific stuff? Tailwind. Yeah, okay. But if we want to do class list. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. So we're going to wrap this bit around the class. Oops. Does this thing have to be a single class though? That's the thing. Don't know about. Okay, that's fine. Will true fruit. Okay, so that can be in a string. That's fine. Then we're going to put an object. And that's going to say transparent nav. Oh, it's the other way around. This is going to say, excuse me. Did I get rid of that blur already? Where did I put that blur? Let me just put some placeholder for now. Colon transparent nav, and end that with that, end that with that. Okay, and now I should be able to see what I got rid of in the last. Backdrop blur large. That's the thing I need. Now, the other bit that's going to be tricky though is the background color. Because there's supposed to be a way to just take this and essentially make it a dynamic CSS property. But I don't know if that will work or not. So the default should be false, right? So on this page, for instance, that background should not be blurry anymore. Transparent nav. Let's just put if it's not a transparent nav. If it's not, then the background color is going to be this other thing. If so, then it's going to be overwritten. So we're just going to say in here, BG black. Just for now, just make it black. Figure out what we want it to be in a sec. Okay. Whoa. Suddenly everything's like really blurry. Okay. So now on the index page, let's make the layout transparent nav. And I don't even think I need to put a value there, because just it being existing will make it true. Okay, guess that's not the case. Let's just make it true then. Equals true. Okay, so why is that not happening? It might be because that background black is still getting overwritten by the background is getting overwritten by that background black, I should say. Yeah, that's most likely the case. Yep, that's exactly what's happening. So we can't do that then. So I'll see if I can get rid of that later, but for now, what we're going to do is we're going to, I mean, it might be enough to just get rid of the backdrop blur. Okay, so do I have backdrop blur here? Do not. Why is that the case? We said on index transparent nav is true. Defaults to false on the layout. If it's false, then it shouldn't blur. If it's true, it should. Transparent nav. Okay, so let's make it true. Make sure that that's how classless works correctly. Okay, fine. Let's switch that back to transparent nav. Okay, not working. Let's see what the value of transparent nav is here. Well, let's actually get rid of that default value. See what that does. Not working still. So let me just refresh to double check. You know what helps every now and then is to open a brand new tab, because I think Chrome kind of likes to hang on to as much memory as it can if you keep the tab open. Okay, so why is that not being passed in as a prop? This is to layout on the index page. Is this the correct index page? This is album. Nope, this is not the correct index page. So we need to go to index, which is the home page. This one. And put that on this layout. There we go. Then we click on the album. Now I think that may have solved it. If we were to really slow this down, I wouldn't be surprised if it still chokes up. Oh, you know, it's not even choking up, it's slowing down. Yeah, I'm interacting. I mean, I can't click stuff still while the animation's going on, but I'm not seeing those bars anymore. Okay, interesting. So that's probably one of the most niche issues that someone might have here. Not sure if anyone else has encountered that sort of issue. But fairly happy with the resolution there. Let's see, what do we want to do? We want to make sure that why can't I figure out? See, I want to see what this is for the album. I want to see what that original animation duration that I put was. Oh, it's because I had album layout last time, and I refactored that. Okay, so that was 50 plus 500. Very good. Okay, so let's refactor this just a little bit more. Let's take our let's take this whole thing. Oops. Let's take our animation, move it to a different file. I'm having a hard time grabbing this whole thing. We're going to collapse that and then grab it. Okay. We're going to remove that. And we're going to remove this. And we're going to add a file. Let's see, where do we want to put this? Components. And components, content, images, layouts, pages. JS. We're just going to do that. Yeah, even though it's going to be a TypeScript file probably. I guess we could say TS. Or scripts. Scripts. And we'll put a new file and we'll call it slide.ts. Export function slide. And then we're going to import it here. Import slide from scripts slide.ts. All right. Still working? Sure is. Excellent. Go to the back. I like it. Pretty happy with it. Very cool. Okay. This has been a pretty long stream. I think we're coming up on 2 hours, so I probably will continue working tonight. I might restart the stream, but the next thing that I'll be doing will be on the Merciful and Mighty album, adding a little play button and seeing if I can get a little MP3 thing to play. So, and that's going to involve maybe using Svelte. So we'll see how that goes. All right, see y'all later.